Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Zaina Jabin. I'm working as endocrinologist at Pakistan Air Force Hospital, Islamabad. And on behalf of Pakistan Endocrine Society, I have the pleasure to welcome you all to this industry symposium, which is sponsored by Novo Nordisk. Today, we will talk about an important subject, which is not just important, but rapidly evolving, which is the obesity and how it impacts not just the weight, but also the cardiovascular, psychosocial, and metabolic health. So recently, our focus has shifted from just weight management to overall well-being. And to discuss this important subject, we are privileged to have distinguished experts with us today. First, I would like to invite our chairpersons for this session. I would begin with inviting Professor Najmul Islam. He is consultant endocrinologist at Aga Khan University Hospital, one of the pioneers of endocrinology in Pakistan. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Then we have another leading endocrinologist, Professor A.H. Amir. He is working as head of endocrinology at Peshawar General Hospital. Then we have Dr. Zareen Kiran. She's working as Associate Professor of Endocrinology at Dow University Health. Now we are going to move to our talk, and we are privileged to have a speaker with us. She is going to talk about the topic, from obesity to wellness, the role of innovator semaglutide 2.4. And she's also going to present the first ever national data. This study is Action Pakistan, and it basically showed perception, attitudes, and behavior of obesity management in Pakistan, and that has recently been published in one of the diabetes, obesity, metabolism journals. So I would like to invite Dr. Asma. Ma'am, the stage is yours.
So, Assalamu alaikum, and thank you very much for your kind introduction. And I understand that this is the last talk of the Pakistan Endocrine Society Symposium. And I would also take the opportunity to congratulate Pakistan Endocrine Society organizers for conducting such an excellent conference. And also, I would like to congratulate the audience for joining us, the remaining audience, actually. So, but as the saying goes, you know, that the best is saved for the last. So, let's see. So, we are witnessing one of the most transformative periods in obesity medicine. So, when we talk about these incretin-based therapies, they are fundamentally reshaping the way we recognize, diagnose, and treat obesity. So this is very important, but despite of the fact that there are scientific advances, and now we have, you know, approval of high-dose therapy, and also the availability of, you know, the 2.4 milligram GLP-1 in Pakistan, still, I would say that there's a need to, you know, raise awareness among the doctors and population that the main target of using these therapies or treatment extend beyond weight loss. So it is to meaningful health-related outcomes and meaningful quality of life. So these are the disclosures for my presentation today. And as a disclaimer, I would like to tell you that I would be focusing mainly on international clinical trials and the published evidence which have been done on the original semaglutide formulation. So there are three main key areas which I'm going to focus today. First is that to understand why the quality weight loss matters beyond just the numbers on the scale. Second is to examine the evidence for semaglutide 2.4 milligram and the real-world evidence. And in last, I would also try to explore the weight loss benefits of using the GLP-1 analogs, again, you know, which is again beyond the just numbers on the scale, and how it translates into the meaningful quality of life and other health-related complications associated with obesity. So, from a patient-centered perspective, what is the most important thing? And I would like to try to keep this, presentation interactive. So I would be asking questions. So what do you think when patients come to you? what is the most important thing they want? Anybody? Yes, very good. Quality of life. So that is the most important thing because, you know, हम समझते हैं कि हम patients का A1C correct कर दें, which is actually important weight, number on the scale. But for patient, the quality of life is the most important thing. So the most important thing for patient is ke how much they can walk, you know, without support, without pain, whether they can play with their children or even grandchildren if we're talking about geriatric population, because now we are seeing patients who are in 70s, 80s, 90s with a good, you know, quality of life. So we have to focus on those patients as well. And simply living a good, you know, healthy life. So this is something which is very important. So these are the three main things that patients expect from us when they come to see us. Yes, we focus on, you know, other health-related outcomes, which is very important, which is because they predict long-term health outcomes, but we have to look at the patient's perspective too. So moving on to the case scenario, basically, which kind of, you know, shows us that how patient-centered approach can guide us in effective obesity management. So this is a case of a 42-year-old female with BMI of 44 kg per meter square and waist circumference, which is very important, around 130 centimeter. Her blood pressure, you can see here, is 169 by 103, and heart rate is 85 beats per minute. So what are her challenges? So her challenges are severe osteoarthritis, which is because of her persistent knee pain, and she's awaiting joint replacement for that. Metabolic burden because of the moderate fatty liver, which we now call, you know, MESL-D or MASH. High cardiometabolic risk, and the functional limitations are difficulty walking long distances and reduced mobility and daily activities. So what does she want as a patient? She does not just want simply a number on the lower number on the scale. She actually wants less pain, better mobility, improved liver health, because now our patients are very much aware when they come to us and they have fatty liver on ultrasound. And I remember 10, 15, 20 years back, we used to tell them this is just something which is benign, you know, you don't need to do anything about it. But now they come to us with the questions. What will happen to our fatty liver? Why do we have fatty liver? Sometimes we see, you know, thin and lean patients too, and they have fatty liver. Like, we were not expecting, you know, that I would have fatty liver on ultrasound. And to qualify for surgery, because she has severe osteoarthritis. So I have this experience of seeing, you know, because we conduct multidisciplinary obesity clinic at AKU, and I get most of the referral from our ortho colleagues. So I was not expecting it. I thought that, you know, कि cardiology ज़्यादा भेजेंगे, बाकी लोग ज़्यादा भेजेंगे, but I get most of the referrals from ortho and rheumatology. And same is the case, you know, at Indus. When we see patients, there are a lot of patients, you know, that who cannot even walk, they have severe osteoarthritis, they are awaiting surgery, and surgeon doesn't want to do surgery on them because of, you know, increased BMI, because it is associated with increased morbidity and mortality. And she also wants to regain her quality of life. So this is something which our patient wants. Another question for the audience. So what do you think? If this patient loses 15 kg, do you think have we achieved what our patient really wants, or which is, you know, meaningful to the patient? No, why? That is not the targeted weight. So again, you're talking about just numbers on the scale. Okay, so from body composition point of view, so that is another question for you. Because from body composition point of view, what do you think? How much weight she should lose, and what actually she should lose, you know? Kya hona chahiye from body composition point of view? Anybody can answer. Truncal obesity, very good. And do you know the difference between the total fat mass and the lean body mass? Can you explain it to us, please? Sorry to put you on the spot, but I'm sorry. That's okay, it's up to you. So basically, from body composition point of view, a main target is that this patient should lose most of her weight from her fat, you know, mass, okay? So what is lean body mass? Lean body mass is everything except for your fat, okay? And what is the most important thing when you talk about lean mass? Anybody? Which muscle? skeletal muscle. So that is the most important thing which we want to preserve. Why? Because skeletal muscle is essential for mobility, balance, yes, very good. Mobility, balance, ability to do your walking and everything. So if you lose your skeletal muscle with anything, sometimes people do aggressive lifestyle measures. Sometimes, after bariatric surgery. So it just seemed like that we kind of blame a lot to medications too. किसी भी तरीके से अगर आप aggressive weight loss कर रहे हैं, you have to be very mindful about body composition. So this is very important, So you want your patients to lose fat mass, but not the lean body mass. So let's look at the evidence, So this was, just to refresh your memory, I'm sure that you know about this trial, step 1, in which, they randomized 1,961 participants, and treatment with once weekly semaglutide, 2.4 milligram of placebo was given to these participants for 68 weeks. And the outcomes included change in body weight from baseline, proportion of participants with more than 5% weight loss at 68 weeks. And what they did extra in this trial was they also assessed the body composition in 140 participants via DEXA scan at baseline and at 68 weeks. So they also assessed body composition. And what it showed here, you can see here, that the participants, they, I don't think that this thing is working. No. So what they observed in this trial, that the participants lost fat mass plus lean body mass. But you can see that here, that the proportion of the fat mass was much greater if you compare it with the lean body mass. So this is something which we want to achieve when we treat, weight or obesity or weight-related complications. And at the end of the trial, the most significant thing was that the lean body mass was much higher in comparison to the fat mass. So they lost fat mass, but they also, the lean mass was higher. So if you do the comparison, you can see it, you can appreciate it here. And then there was another study. This was not a clinical trial, but it was a real-world evidence, study, which are very important. They have their own place, with the clinical trial as well. And it is called SEMA Lean study. So they included 115 participants in the study, and it was a prospective longitudinal study which was conducted at the nutrition department in France. And again, the patients were treated with semaglutide once weekly, 2.4 milligram for 12 months. And what was the important thing about this study is that, they just did not assess the body composition. They also assess the muscle function in these patients. So it is not just, lean body mass and fat mass. There's another thing which is important, which is the muscle function. And we talked about it when we were talking about skeletal muscle. So what did it show? Again, when we talk about body composition, the participants, after 12-month study, they lost a lot of fat mass. You can see here, minus 12.1 kg. And if you look at the lean body mass, it was 3.3 kg. So yes, you lose lean body mass, you cannot prevent it, but it is the comparison, between the fat mass and the lean mass, which is very important. So your patient should, and this has become very important because this is the question which patients come to us and ask, Dr. Saiba, we don't want to have this face and we don't want to have, the muscle loss and everything. So this is this aspect. And why am I telling you this? Because if your doctors are confident, if they know about the clinical trials, if they know about the real world data, you can actually tell your patients in simple words, see, yes, it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it happens in the same way. You can tell them figures, you can tell them, you can spell it out to patient in a very, simple language. So this is very important. The most other important thing which was observed, in this study was the preservation of lean mass over time. You can see it here on that side. So that was very important, the preservation of, lean mass, which was, maintained throughout the study and after that too. So this is also very important, and the loss of the fat mass. So again, the same question that what if she loses weight but becomes weaker? Because यहाँ पे उन्होंने कहा था, कि 15 kg lose किया, अभी और lose करना चाहिए. So I'm sorry to say that is what we want you to realize, कि it's not a game number, So I'm, I'm sure that even internationally, even in Pakistan, हर जगह पे हम जब भी trials present करते हैं, हम जब भी बात करते हैं, हम 15%, 20%, 25%, अब 30% है, this is too much. We don't want to talk about it, and we don't want our patients to talk about it. So this is something which is very important, because we don't want our patients to become weaker. And as I emphasized before, this study, CMALEAN study, it also assessed the muscle function. So that is a very simple thing to assess muscle function, is to check the hand grip strength. So they checked the hand grip strength, and you can see here that there was a plus 4.1 kg, increase in the hand muscle strength, actually, hand grip strength in these patients. So this is also very important. So in summary, all these trials, it proved that there's not just, weight loss. It should be clinically meaningful weight loss, predominantly from excess fat, not from the lean mass, while preserving muscle strength and function. This is very important. So less fat, more function, yes, लेकिन आपने बाकी चीजें भी देखनी है. So as I was talking about it before, when patient come to us, biomarkers, hemoglobin A1C, numbers, blood pressure kya hai. So we all talk about numbers. But in this era, it is very important that it should be a combination of biomarkers and what your patient wants. So it should be a combination. और आपको याद है 20 साल पहले, 25 साल पहले जितनी स्टडीज भी होती थी, nobody talked about quality of life. ये तो अब आया है, जिसको बहुत सारे लोग अभी भी ड्रामा समझते हैं कि क्या quality of life, क्यों बात कर रहे हैं. हम तो नंबर्स की बात करते हैं, A1C की बात करते हैं, ब्लड प्रेशर की बात करते हैं, हमने पेशेंट्स में इतना अचीव किया. So it's not all about biomarkers. Quality of life is something which is very important. And so looking at the patient, going back to the patient, what do you think? Which quality of life domain would improve her life the most? And anybody can, comment on this. कि कैसे quality of life assess करते हैं हम? Yes. So very interactive. Thank you so much to keep the, thing alive, actually. Yes, very good. Socializing. Very good. Perfect. Yes. So there are validated questionnaires actually to assess that. So this is one of the questionnaire with this impact of, weight on quality of life CT questionnaire, which is a validated questionnaire. You can take the picture and you can use it, and because it is validated for obesity clinical trials actually. So यहाँ पर अगर आप देखें तो there are 20 items which are actually grouped in 3 domains. ठीक है? Physical function. You talked about mobility. Physical function. Physical in a sense, और especially it is very relevant in Pakistan. हम malls में जाते हैं, हम जितनी जगह जाते हैं, you see, we are not catered for this population, obese population. Seats हमारी छोटी होती हैं, they can't even sit. It comes into the domain of physical. Psychosocial, there are 13 items in the domain of psychosocial because of its impact on, psychosocial health. So yes, I agree. So if you look at again, step 1 trial, you can see there was significant improvement in this questionnaire in terms of physical function, which we talked about, कि bend करने में आसानी होती है, चलने में आसानी होती है. These were all part of, physical function. So 51.2% improvement in semaglutide 2.4 milligram group after 68 weeks versus 32.9% in the comparator. Yes, I will talk about it. Okay. Yes. So here you can see, that the semaglutide basically improved 9.4 points greater improvement in physical function, 9.1 greater improvement in physical, and 10.5 points greater improvement in psychosocial aspect. So this is quite significant, So it's not just weight. It is muscle function, it is lean body mass, it is quality of life, which is very important. Yes. So basically, we know that, exercise, if we talk about exercise function, 6-minute walking distance by 20 meters was improved in, semaglutide group. and you can see the comparison between the comparator group and the semaglutide group, as you talked about. But this study was done actually in heart failure patients with low ejection fraction. So we know that SGLT2 inhibitors always remain your first choice when you see patients with heart failure and low ejection fraction. But it also showed promising results because, 6-minute walking test is a very good, valuable functional capacity test in patients who have low ejection fraction and who have heart failure. So it showed a promising result that it can increase it by 20 meters, which is quite a lot. 20 meters, आप सोचें कल आपने चले थे तो आपको पता होगा, तो it's quite a lot for patients who have low ejection fraction or have heart failure. Yes. Tolerance. I agree 100%. So what about safety? Whenever you prescribe these medications to the patients, do you look at the safety data as well? Yes, we do. So we have long-term safety data because now people ask us about safety data. So it's not for your own sake. It is your, for patient population too. So we have, they have proven that it has been studied in 54,000 people across all indications with a cumulative exposure of more than 33 million patient years across indications since 2018. And the safety profile of, again, semaglutide 2.4 milligram has been tested on the long-term study of the 4 years duration as well. Immunogenicity, this is something which is very important. What is immunogenicity? To a certain antigen. So whenever you introduce a substance in the body, it can provoke an immune response in the body, which is very important. So it's a key consideration and should be tested for all therapeutic proteins. And it has a well-established immunogenicity profile. And even if you look at the WHO, guidelines for biosimilar as well, it has clearly reported that immunogenicity of biotherapeutic products should always be investigated pre-authorization. So this is something जब भी आप हम medicine लिखते हैं, so it's not just like efficacy कितनी है, वो patient का weight loss कितना होगा, क्या चीज़ें हैं, आपने इन सारी चीज़ों को भी देखना है. Because अब हम उस era में रह रहे हैं, which is social media, which is like patients are more aware. मुझे तो कभी कभार लगता है जो patient मुझसे बात कर रहे होते हैं, they are more aware than a lot of doctors actually. So they have all these questions and they have all these information before coming to you. So what do we know about the safety profile of this semaglutide? We know there are majority of their GI side effects, which can be very painful, which can be devastating. They can make life miserable. So I would not just give you a rosy picture. Patients who have taken it, they have, told us that this is not something which is very, pleasing for the body. But what are the things which you can do to kind of lower the side effect profile? So 3 E's very important. First, you need to educate the patient. Explanation is very important. And third is stepwise dose escalation. That is the most important thing, to kind of improve the tolerability and to reduce the side effect adverse events profile. So stepwise dose escalation. Don't do hurry, कि बस अभी बढ़ानी है, क्योंकि patients आते हैं इसके साथ, बस डॉक्टर साहब इसको बढ़ाएं, फिर बढ़ाएं, मैं तो उस पे जाना है, डोज पे जाना है. Don't go into that game, कि बस जल्दी बढ़ाना है. Go easy, ताकि पेशेंट, ये हम मेटफॉर्मिन पे मैंने बहुत सीखा था कि मेटफॉर्मिन में जो पेशेंट मेरे पास आते थे बाहर फिजिशियन से बड़ी डोजेस लेते हुए, दे हैव नेवर टेकन मेटफॉर्मिन आफ्टर दैट बिकॉज उसके इतने बुरे GI साइड इफेक्ट्स होते थे एंड दे यूज्ड टू लाइक, क्या मुझे किसी पे भी डाल दें, मुझे मेटफॉर्मिन पे ना डाल दें. तो वी लूज इफेक्ट ऑफ सच गुड मेडिकेशंस बिकॉज ऑफ दैट इफ वी स्टार्ट विद अ हायर डोज. Yes, very good point. Thank you for highlighting it. Thank you. And another aspect is aspect which is very important is the relationship of patient with the food, So what we call as food noise. आपने बहुत सुना होगा food noise क्या है? That's a constant chatter about food in your mind कि 24 घंटे हम food के बारे में सोच रहे हैं, अभी lunch लगेगा, क्या होगा उसमें, हम क्या खाएंगे. So it actually happens and it's not our fault. It is because of the environment we live in. जहाँ हम जाते हैं हमें opportunities ही मिलती हैं खाने की. There's nothing else in the country or overall. So this is also very important. So there are actually validated questionnaire which can assess control of eating assessment methods. These are 2 questionnaires जिसमें कि उन्होंने एक में तो craving control, positive mood, craving for savory, craving for sweet. इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अप्रिशिएट इट हेयर कि कुछ लोगों की क्रेविंग जो है वो सेवरी के लिए ज़्यादा होती है, कुछ लोगों की स्वीट के लिए ज़्यादा होती है. सो until unless you know about this, you would not be able to treat your patient. So this is something जो कि आप हिस्ट्री में लेते हैं. Obviously, you will not be using these questionnaires in your clinical setting, but at least you should know about it whenever you are taking history. So here you can see that in step 5, there were 304 participants, and it showed significant improvement in participants' craving control, positive mood, craving for savory, and craving for sweet. So here you can see that patient reported experience, improvement in their everything about food. So here from 63% it went down to 15%, 62%, 16%. So these all are like kind of assessments कि जितना वो constantly food के बारे में सोच रहे थे, बाकी चीज़ें, positive mood, everything, it had an impact on this. So we talked about, fat mass loss, preservation of lean mass, and quality of life, and other things. What about the cardiovascular outcomes? Because जितनी भी हम chronic disease management करते हैं, वो हम क्यों करते हैं? To prevent cardiovascular diseases. So let's look at the data here. So this is a very interesting data, and you must have seen it. This was a select trial, which took 17,000 participants. And the most important thing is, ये आगे नहीं जा रहा इसमें. Okay, sorry, it's not showing the whole thing, but so this is a Kaplan-Meier curve. जो लोग research करते हैं उनको पता होगा. So here you can see the separation of these two, groups, the intervention group and the placebo group. ये बिल्कुल आपको start of the treatment में नज़र आ रहे हैं within the first few months of treatment, and this is not visible here that this effect was maintained throughout the trial period. So जो cardiovascular effect था, इसका मतलब है कि it was not truly associated with the weight loss, it was associated with something else, right? So this is very significant finding कि जब आप ये medications देते हैं, so it's not like again कि weight loss की वजह से आपका major adverse cardiovascular event reduce होंगे. It is, it starts showing in the beginning, and it is maintained throughout. If you look at the ESSENCE trial, again, it showed significant improvement in steatohepatitis resolution and liver outcomes in comparison with placebo at week 72 with 2.4 milligram of semaglutide. So in conclusion, it shows that, semaglutide versus placebo improved physical and psychosocial well-being, improved aspects of food cravings and eating behaviors, reduce the risk of major adverse cardiovascular events, and increase MASH resolution and reduce liver fibrosis. So if you revisit Aisha, we have to remember that obesity care is not equivalent to weight loss. ठीक है? Patient-centered outcomes matter, and it enables meaningful transformation. And the last thing I would like to focus, I will just take 5 minutes if I can. It's the last presentation, so just 2-3 minutes, okay. The last thing which is very important is that, जब हम clinical trials की बात करते हैं, we kind of think that we cannot translate these clinical trials or studies into the, clinical practice. We can. हम अगर कुछ चीज़ों पर ख्याल रखें कि पेशेंट सिलेक्शन क्या है, आपने पेशेंट की काउंसलिंग कैसे की है, आप बाकी चीज़ें कैसे करें, so we can actually translate these trials and studies into the basically clinical जो है वो care. In the last, I would like to just highlight this presentation, basically this publication जो कि हमारी recently published हुई है with the name of Action Park. So what is this study? It is actually the first Pakistani data set which has, assessed the perception and attitudes of people living with obesity and also the healthcare professionals. And it shows us, the barriers which kind of, hinders the effective obesity management. So these are the investigators who contributed to this study. So there are 3 investigators apart from me who are sitting here, So thank you very much. And what is the study was about? तो basically ये 9 countries में हमने की थी as a part of the Action APAC. और हमने ये data जो है जो अभी हमने ये publish किया है, it was also published, the prior study. But this study was actually specifically, Pakistani data analysis, जिसमें last findings मैं वो करके I'll just wrap it up, okay? So you can see here that the promising finding of this study is that majority of the participants, people living with obesity and healthcare professionals, they recognized obesity, that it is a chronic disease. So that was the best thing about this study. But at the same time, despite of that, many of the people living with obesity and healthcare professionals thought that, if patient has high weight or have increased BMI, that is actually their responsibility. It is not something for which they require clinical care. And that led to the reflection that only 77% of the people who actually fulfilled the criteria, they were put on medications. And the most striking finding was that people with obesity in Pakistan began struggling with weight at a mean age of 25, but it took them around an average of 3 years to seek help from healthcare professionals. So that was the most striking finding of this publication. If you want to, know about the study more, you can scan this QR code to access the publication. So with that, I would like to conclude my presentation. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them in person or maybe, later by email. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Asma, for such an insightful presentation. And I think you have emphasized that weight management is not just about weight loss numbers, it is about their overall quality of life, and it is about improving their long-term health outcomes. So now we'll take some perspective of our chairpersons. I'll first begin with Professor A.H. Amir. Sir, please share your comments.
Thank you very much for giving me opportunity. And as they said, they left the best for the end. And thank you very much. It was a exciting talk, and it's always good when you see your own data. That's one thing we are lacking. And when you have your own data, that gives us a good confidence that there are still work being done. So thank you for sharing that data with us. As echoed time and again, that obesity care is not about the number, it's about the quality of life. And I'll just say in one sentence, 2-3 sentences, the patient perspective is very important, and I usually write it down when the patient comes to me after the weight loss. And I was just trying to remember it, and few of the things which, as a clinician, we probably don't think. So I've got 3 comments here, and this is I've written. One of the patient came, I can sit down on the floor and eat food with my family. We don't think about that. This is their perspective. The other patient said, I came to your clinic climbing up the stairs. We never thought about that. And the final one, they said, I can pray now standing up instead of sitting down. We don't think about these things. So I think it's a patient perspective which is important, the quality of life which a weight loss can give to our patient, that is most important. And I think the one of the very important point which you highlighted about the lean loss and fat mass, I think the grip improves, and part of it could be that there is a fat in the muscle itself. And if you lose that fat, it might actually improve the thing. So thank you very much, Asma, again, for a wonderful talk at the end of the session. It was wonderful to hear that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your comments. So it's basically patients' perspectives which will help us to emphasize on the patient-centered obesity care. So now I would like to take comments from Professor Najmul Islam.
First of all, I would like to congratulate Asma for a very wonderful presentation, a comprehensive presentation on the topic of obesity. She has discussed all the trials really relevant. The best thing is that just the percentage of weight loss is not just that's not just matters, but the quality of life. And she also stressed on one of the point, which is the muscle mass loss that is being talked about by the patients a lot, and also by the physicians when they come with us for consultations. And I think that is something that is very important to discuss with the patient, the sarcopenia aspect, because they have that thing that this group of drug, not just this drug, that leads to loss in lean mass. And that is not good for the patient. And that leads to fall and other problems associated with decrease in lean mass. So I think that is an important aspect which she has shown in these 2 trials, the STEP-UP trial and the SEMA-LEAN trial, not just the increase in the relative loss of the fat mass, and relative increase in the muscle mass rather than decrease, and the strength as well. So I think this is something that we should be taking from here, from this talk, that when we talk to our patients, it's not the percentage of weight loss that we should be talking. We should be talking about the quality of life that they would like to have really after their loss, and also that this misconception that they have, or at least the conception that they have in their mind should be dealt in a way that anxiety is gone. So I think that aspect was highlighted very much in this talk.
Thank you so much, sir. So it means that patient education remains the cornerstone of obesity management. So I'll take the last comments from Dr. Zareen.
Thank you, Zaina. I have not much to say already. My professors have explained in detail about what Dr. Asma has presented. But one thing that I feel I want to know as well, the data about muscle function, the strength that you presented in different trials, I would like to know if anyone is interested and want to study the same thing in our population. Because again, that muscle lean mass and muscle function, muscle strength is something very important. Some patients may lose just 15 kg and can be more active and functional in their daily life, but some patients may require more. So numbers are not mattering here. So we need to assess what is the muscle function about in our population especially. Thank you.
So yes, it's a reminder for all of us to start taking more local data. So after the panel discussion, because the presentation was already quite interactive, so we'll skip the question answer session. So now that brings us to the end of this session and also the PES Midsummer Conference. I would like to thank our speaker for a very insightful and excellent presentation. I would like to thank all of our chairpersons for sharing their valuable insights, and also the audience for being so engaging during the session. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Tahir Ghaffar for his closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, finally, my attention is over as all the session went very well. Before I request Dr. Yaqub to say, because he's the scientific chair, to say final thanks to you. It's just a lucky draw, and we have a very healthy thing for that. It's a cycle distribution. We have 3 cycles. और हाँ उस पे ये exercise करेंगे ना exercise के लिए. So it's not all about GLP-1s and bariatric surgery, so you can use cycle and यहाँ पे रखें. I would request Professor Abdul Jabbar sir अगर आप आएं और पहला distribute कर सकें sir, please. हाँ. जी 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 जी.
डॉक्टर सुहेल शौकत.
अच्छा इसमें एक मेरी रिक्वेस्ट थी. मैंने डॉक्टर ताहिर गफ़ार से रिक्वेस्ट की कि प्रीवियसली हम लोगों ने ये किया था कि जो हॉल में अवेलेबल होगा सिर्फ उसी को देते हैं, बट एज यू नो कि दिस इज़ द लास्ट सेशन, तो मोस्टली लोग अपने दूर ट्रैवलिंग की वजह से चले गए. तो दीज आर द गाय कि जिनको हम लोग इनकी डेस्टिनेशंस पे ये साइकिल प्रोवाइड कर देंगे.
So thank you so much, sir. So we have their details. Diabetologist SDH Sahiwal. सर बता. नहीं सर नहीं कर सकता. Sir, if you can come please and distribute in the second one. I hope it's me. दुआएं तो बंदा कर सकता है ना. आमिर साहब में शायद मेरा नाम निकला है. I saw that. I saw that. अब हैरान हो गए.
So this is Dr. Ishfaq Ali. He is from our department, my ex-department in HMC. But no plan, really.
मेरा अपना इरादा था. चले मेरा हो जाएगा. Just missed. Thank you. So the third one to President साहब, आप आ जाएं. आपको तो पता है मैंने बड़ी मेहनत किया है ऐसा काटने का जिसमें मेरा नाम हो.
दो निकलना है नीचे वाला.
जो मर्जी आप जो नीचे वाला
डॉक्टर मनाल ताहिर.
ताहिर गफार होगा.
नहीं मनाल ताहिर नाम.
मनाल.
So she is not here, but you guys know her. She is house officer in FFH.
Fatma Memorial Hospital. FFH.
FFH.
अच्छा
सही निकाला है मैंने. चलें, thank you very much.
You are welcome, sir. In Dr. Tahir, we have three bicycles. तो इनकी destinations पे इनको hand over कर देंगे. And we as a Gets Pharma trying to promote healthier lifestyle जो कि हम लोगों ने अपने attire में पिछले 2 दिनों से express भी कर रहे थे.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, for the final comments, I would request the chair of the scientific chair, the brain behind the whole conference. Please welcome him.
So finally, we are reaching the conclusion. Okay, it's on? Okay. So finally, we are reaching the conclusion. Tahir Ghaffar is relaxing. His cortisol level is going down. So let's begin the conclusion with the name of the Almighty. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum. Respected President, Pakistan Endocrine Society, distinguished faculty, respected delegates and guests, dear residents, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I really feel honored and am very excited as well. Delivering this vote of thanks is scientific chair for this, alhamdulillah, very successful 12th PASMET Summer Conference at its conclusion. So first of all, on behalf of scientific and organizing committees, as well as the whole PES family, we are very, very grateful to our all esteemed speakers, the panelists, and of course the moderators. They shared their updated knowledge, their wonderful experiences, and of course their innovative ideas with the with the audience. And thus, making this conference, I think, a truly rewarding academic experience. We also sincerely thank our respected delegates and friends, these guests. I think this is their enthusiastic participation and very active engagements in different events, thus transforming this event into a vibrant forum. Let me extend our deepest gratitude to the organizing committee itself, the technical staff attached, the volunteers and friends, and of course, the Pakistan Endocrine Society sponsors. These were the people behind the scenes, yet their efforts made each and every individual event of this whole conference very much possible. And I think we cannot forget the founders of this society, the Pakistan Endocrine Society. These are our senior mentors and professors. And I think this is their vision, their guidance, and of course their unwavering support, because of which these kind of activities are still continuing in our country. And I think this is because of them that this Pakistan Endocrine Society is still standing tall. As we conclude today, let's carry forward the knowledge we gained this far and assimilating to formulate excellence in our patient care, teachings, and research. Pakistan Endocrine Society wish you a safe journey back home, and inshallah we'll be welcoming you again in the future in different scientific endeavors. So till then, Allah Hafiz and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And there is a small announcement for you. The high tea is arranged outside in the Chinar Hall. So thank you very much.